Hey everyone, and welcome to our next episode of Raven Creek Park here on Planet Zoo. And today it's sort of a double feature episode because not only we are building the habitat for the spectacled caiman, but we also kind of finish this left wing of the main building where we also have the indoor area for the capybaras. So this area of the big wetlands house of the wetlands, whoever you want to call it. I still haven't found a good name for it. It's kind of finished, at least from the inside. And I went to strange places for this. Looking up average ceiling heights in the US to really give it a realistic feeling. And I can tell you now, the average ceiling height of public American buildings is around 9 feet or 2.74 meters, and in the end I settled with a 3 meter high ceiling for the lower room, and because just 2.7 felt a little bit low with the in-game aesthetics. But hey, enough of that. We actually start with the habitat for the spectacled caiman, which has some similarities to the indoor area for the small clawed Asian otter, but this is just for the consistency of this building's aesthetics. And this caiman itself was a little bit of a surprise for most of us when it got revealed in the DLC, because we didn't expect to see another caiman in the game. We had the Cuviers dwarf caiman in the aquatic update, and even back then, people didn't really like it because they felt it could have easily be swapped out for a better animal, for a cooler animal in their minds. And now we got another caiman, the spectacled caiman, or the common caiman, as it's known, because it's one of the most widely available, or widely one of the caimans with the most widely ranged habitat, even going down into the US and the Caribbean islands. And at first I was also a little bit not angry, but I thought, okay, maybe they could have given us a cooler animal for that, with the wetlands pack, and not just another caiman, which, crocodilians, we have a bunch now. We have the gharial, the saltwater crocodile, as said, the dwarf Cuvier caiman, and now the spectacled one. But now, after seeing it in game and playing around with it and building for it, I have to say Frontier again did an amazing job with the model, and I have to say they are really good with making their reptile models, where they lack sometimes when it comes to fur shaders, let's say just the lion. When they do reptiles, they really go all in. Maybe it has to do with them also developing Jurassic World Evolution, that they are a little bit more experienced, exercised. I don't know what I mean, with scaly animals. But even if it's a little bit of a copycat, the spectacled caiman really is an amazing animal, and I'm also happy to get a bigger caiman, because of all the crocodilians, caimans always have been my favorites, simply because I love South American areas. I love South America and the Amazonian River, and caimans are really these smaller crocodilians that sometimes look a little bit mischievous, and so having another one that isn't as tiny as the spectacled one, not the spectacled one, the Cuviers one, really made me happy. And this habitat here, they will only have an indoor habitat because of the weather in Raven Creek, so giving an outdoor area for such a tropical animal might be a little bit complicated. So I decided to only give them indoor area. And if you would look at the space requirements, it's really, really, really small. The game, if you would play this in franchise, my caimans would be really unhappy because all of their water and land requirements are basically in the red. But from a realistic standpoint, this makes sense. It's even maybe a little bit too big from a realistic standpoint, and reptilians are mostly just fine with having a smaller area for themselves. Another problem that of course came with this was how to decorate this habitat without even taking more walkable area for them away, or navigation area for them away, because crocodilians and the spectral caiman is no exception, have a hard time moving around in this game because of the weird way movement is coded here, because at all time an animal has to be able to move around 360 degrees on itself in order to consider something movable, so it can always rotate and change direction. And with crocodilians, you can see where the problem starts, because they have a huge long tail. So that's why the saltwater crocodile, especially the male one, is I think one of the notorious ones when it comes to space problems, with them not even fitting 2 doors that are that should be definitely big enough for them. And the spectral caiman is no exception to this. It can't get even close to these dry walls, to these fake mud walls that I got from the workshop. Awesome way. I will link it down in the comment, by the way. I will link the mud wall that I used here in the workshop in the description down below. But yeah, he's no exception to this, and he can't even get close to it because of the way the movability, the pathfinding works. But in the end, I found a good solution. They do their usual things as crocodilians do. They swim around, they lay on the land to bask in the sun, or the artificial sun of our lamps. So all is good, and they don't have that much of unique behavior or enrichment animations that for what they would need more space. So I'm happily fine with just having them laying down in the water and laying down on land, as crocodiles usually do in zoos. And since I decided to not give them deep diving, so they can't deep dive in this area, I could also put a little bit of sticks on the ground, on the underground, to decorate a little bit more. But in the end, it's still a little bit sparse, and I'm happy to hear suggestions what I could add or change in the habitat. We'll see it in the end, in the real-time part, what I could do to even more give it a bit more decoration and flair to it, because I still think it looks a little bit empty. But when I was building this, I didn't really had an idea what I could do without making it impossible for them to move. And we are basically also already done with the Caiman Habitat. It was really a short build and a fast build. I built it, I think, in under an hour, 2.5 hours. This is the positive when you already have kind of an idea what you want to build. And I always recommend this to people who build stuff. Always test things out first. If for example, the terrain works with the water level, or if space works with the animals, the space you want to give them, and then you met less problems when actually building the habitat, because you already know what problems you can avoid. So after building, after I built the habitat, I thought, the video would be very short if I stop right here. So I decided to also finish the wing on itself, the South America wing, we can call it, because it features these 2 South American animals. And as I said, I looked up ceiling heights in the US because I wasn't sure how high I should make it, and I didn't want to make the whole wing building too high, because otherwise it would have looked stupid next to the main building. So I looked it up, I found the answer, I decided on a height I want to use, and the upper floor, because actually this would be a 2-floor building. The upper floor is just not used at this moment. is a little bit yeah, it's not it's not high enough for really to feel comfortable. It feels a bit cramped upside. Maybe in the future I will change that, so maybe the building will get a little bit bigger or higher. But I decided the plan was to have it a two-story building, and as I said, maybe I will do that in the future. And the upper floor would maybe feature like yeah, offices or maybe classrooms for school classes, or maybe something like party rooms, festivals, stuff where you could yeah have a gathering and have a party or a wedding or something, or it's just offices for yeah, bureaucracy stuff, or maybe even, or as I said, maybe there would be a classroom where the keepers could teach children about the zoo or about animals, and it doesn't even have an access yet or access there, so there's no way up there at the moment. And as I said, it just has the roof from the lower floor and then the normal building roof, so there is not much there, and it's open to all possibilities. But yeah, with this we are also close to the end of the wetlands DLC area, I should say, because we also will have, of course, another wetlands area with some more American animals like the moose and the alligator. But with the DLC area, we are closely coming to an end. We just have one animal left, which is the platypus, which will also only have an indoor area, as already said in the previous episode. And then, yeah, it's only missing the main structure. The main building is missing, some smaller tweaks here and there, some gardening, and then we can move back to the forest area where we started with the wolves some time ago, and where the next would be the grizzly bear. So I have really fun building for these new animals, and having this area in my zoo really helped with yeah, actually seeing these animals. But because usually when a new DLC drops, I'm mostly in the middle of a project, and I don't really usually plan for these animals up ahead, or I have no place for them ahead. So most times I don't end up not using them for quite a while. I still haven't used most of the Australia DLC animals, because to this date I had no plans for an Australian area in any of my zoos. So I'm happy that we can now use all of these wonderful animals here in Raven Creek. And with that, we wrap up this speed build, and I see you then yeah, in the real-time part after this. So see you in a minute, and thank you for listening. So, and here we are now in the real-time part, and we don't start on the inside at the Cayman exhibit, but on the outside, where we now have a fully finished facade for our capybaras. As you may remember in the first episode when we built for the capybaras, I left the building behind it on purposely unfinished, so that I can change things during the creation. And now the facade is fully finished, all the windows are in, and the capybaras have a finished home basically. And if we follow now the main path from the capybara home, there they are, onto this corner where we have the big entrance building. You can see the other indoor area in the background. We now have our fully finished left side wing, our Amazonian wing. Let's go to here. And as you might notice, there are a couple of info boards on the wall. These have been made by the amazing Lion, as well as this particular map that has been made by Borke, and they do amazing stuff. Especially Lion, especially Lion has a lot of amazing signs on the workshop, and I will leave links to both their workshop Steam pages down below in the description. But we are here for the Cayman, and we are lucky. They are both. Okay, I was not sure if the game is running or not, or if I paused accidentally, but they are just chilling in the water. As you can see, you can also see underwater. A little bit of a clipping here, but that's normal with the crocodiles. But yeah, this is their habitat. And as I said, if you have suggestions, what I could change, what I could add, always let me know in the comments. I'm happy for any critique and any advice on how I could make this even better. So yeah, if you have ideas, let me know. And you also see that I added some stuff, yeah, post speed build basically. I added some mirrors to the walls to make it a little bit more dirty, to make it look a little bit more broken, and it looks like the crocs have splashed a little bit of the mud around. And I also added this little view here, which is supposed to show basically the water running, or the water pipes that are there for the pool, the heated water pipes and the electricals for this indoor pool, so that the guests can see how this is managed. This is also always something interesting for people and guests to see how how a zoo works behind the curtain basically. So I added this here, a simple build with just the metal rods and some smaller metal boxes to just show how this pool would be operated. And if we turn around from the crocodiles corner, we have of course the capybara indoor area with the dried out indoor pool that is there for the winter months. And if they are sleepy, they can come in here and have a nice bit of sleep, and you can still see them. And yeah, this is basically the South American wing. I will maybe add some things here and there over time if I find good stuff and I find good ideas. Maybe even I always thinking about more plants basically. So having more potted plants here and there to make it a little bit more look more lush. And this door back here, this was also not enough people. This is the potential, staircase, leads to the potential staircase that leads up into the upper floor, where we have the meeting room or school room, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, basically that's it. That's the South America wing done, or the South America part of this area done. And maybe this crocodile is coming out of the water. No, he decided to stay in the water. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's a bit of a shorter one, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see you in the next one. So have a great time, and goodbye everyone. Bye bye.